Girlfriends' Guide to Homeschooling. It's that time to join a special guest. So let me see if I can get her on here. Let's see here. Yay! It's that time. I hope you all have had a wonderful day. I'm coming to you out of a new and different location. I'm not in my normal There we go. She's here. Yes! Yes, yes. Hi, Tameka. Yay! Yes, lovely, lovely, lovely. All right, so we're all set. I had to do a new little setup because I'm not in my normal spot here. I'm going to go ahead and share, and I'll let you know when I've done so. Give me just a quick minute.
Sounds
exciting! I feel like I need to start some music. It's so quiet. On my edited videos, it has music and all this kind of fun stuff. So when I listen to this, it's really quiet. So anyway, are you all set?
I'm all set. I'm trying to find the link here so I can.
Okay, give me 1 minute. I'll let you know when I've shared it. It'll be just a second.
Okay.
All right, girlfriends, as you come in, let us know where you're viewing us from. What city and state do you homeschool in? And we're going to have our special guest with us, Tameka Williams out of Jacksonville, Florida. All right, I already shared it. You can refresh the page.
Okay.
And this is going to be great. Yes!
I'm excited.
It's going to be great. All right, let me share one other spot, and then I'm going to go into airplane mode.
Okay.
All righty. Okay.
I'm not a techie person, so it may take me a second to figure this one out. Let's see.
Okay, so refresh on the Girlfriends' Guide to Homeschooling page.
Okay.
When you refresh, you should see us at the top right there, and then you just go to the bottom and hit the share button.
Okay. I do not see us.
Not yet? Okay, it should be there. I just shared it just maybe 10, 15 seconds ago.
Okay. All right. Sounds good.
All right.
Yeah. Come on back in.
Hello. Hello, Monique. Welcome on in. Let us know where you're viewing us from, what city and state. Perhaps maybe you're in Florida. That might be my lucky guess because that's where Tameka's from. Do you see it, Tameka, yet?
I don't see us.
Okay.
No.
Let me go and I'll check myself and just make sure it's there.
Okay.
All right. Hey, Greg, thanks for liking the page, liking this interview here. You all, yes, like and share and tag a friend in the comment section. Just type their names in there to tag them into this live stream. Yep, it's there. I see it. It's there. So yeah, you should refresh it and then scroll down just a little bit. It's like the second video.
The second video. Okay.
Yeah, first you'll see my pinned one, and then right after that is us, right there.
Okay. And I'm doing this from my iPad, so I'm not. It could look a little different. So.
Okay.
But
what I see is we're there.
We're on there. Okay. So hopefully it will come up for me here shortly.
Okay, we can go ahead and get started, and maybe you'll see it, just refresh, but hopefully also if you still have that on, it won't interrupt our feed. Hey there, Nalani, thank you for joining in. All right, so here we go. Let me get my little camera set just right.
All right.
So it won't come off my head. All right, well, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Girlfriends' Guide to Homeschooling. I am turned up for today's interview. Woo, woo, woo. We have a special guest out of Jacksonville, Florida. I'm, of all places, I'm in Virginia at the moment. So I'm here, Virginia. She's in Jacksonville, Florida. I'm out of my element, so this is all a new surroundings and background I had to set up. But if you are just seeing this picture, this video in your news feed, let me let you know who we are and what this is all about. So this is Girlfriends' Guide to Homeschooling. I'm Angela Perry, your host for this show, and this is a platform which provides a voice to the African homeschooling diaspora and those who are marginalized homeschooling. This is what we do. Give voice where they can share their journey, their successes, triumphs, where you can glean from, get insights, encouragement. This is what we do. So my purpose-driven life is to make a positive impact on thousands of homeschoolers worldwide. And I do that in part right here with Girlfriends' Guide to Homeschooling. Woo, woo, woo. Just a little bit about myself. I am a homeschooling mom of 18 years, 8 children, 3 of which we graduated already. So that means 5 more we have left. 2 more we are praying to adopt soon, and then that would be 7 children I have to homeschool. So I'm looking forward to it. It's been a blessing. It's been a wonderful experience. We make our home out of Campobello, South Carolina, which is the northwest part of the state, where we are small farmers. And that's about, and I serve the homeschooling community in South Carolina, where I provide legal right for them to homeschool. So that's a little bit about me. But for now, we're going to go to our special guest. Are you ready to make this happen, Tameka?
Yes, I am.
Good job. Good job. But Tameka Williams is a homeschooling mother of 2 children, ages 9 and 7. Tameka and her husband of 12 years decided to begin their journey of homeschooling their children in 2012. Prior to becoming a stay-at-home mom, Tameka worked in corporate America as a manager for 12 years. After the birth of their second child, Tameka and her husband decided it was best for her to stay home to raise their children. During this time, Tameka had the opportunity to meet several homeschooling families, which led her family into the homeschooling world. Tameka's children participated in classical conversations for 6 years. During this time, Tameka served as a support manager and director for the North and West areas of Jacksonville, Florida for 3 years. Very exciting. So this eventually led to Tameka and a community of mothers to start a co-op in 2017 called Culturally Connected Homeschoolers, which I hope to come to Jacksonville soon and visit. Oh, I'm trying to make it happen, Tameka.
Yeah.
They now have 40 families and over 100 children in this amazing community, several of which I have interviewed here. Matter of fact, this week right here. Tameka enjoys uplifting and encouraging families in their homeschooling journey. She is blessed to have the opportunity to stay at home and educate her children without limits as she prepares them to enjoy and learn about life before they leave the nest.
Yeah.
So Tameka, I have just shared just a little bit about you with the girlfriends and guy friends here. Please share more about yourself and how you actually got started in homeschooling.
Okay, absolutely. Thank you for having me on here. First, let me start that off because I know you have a lot of moms and dads that you interview all the time. So I love that because we get to share our experiences and what led us to actually homeschooling, because it does look different for everybody. So as you read in my bio, I was in corporate America, like you said, for 12 years. And that's all I thought I was going to do. You know, I thought, you know, that world was all I knew, and I loved it. And then I met my husband, and then we got married, and I said, oh, wow, okay, this is new, you know, because I spent my whole life independent, you know, on my own and doing everything by myself. So getting married, you know, when I met my husband, that was an adjustment, you know, to my own life, and then having to share it with someone. And then kids came along 2 years later. And when that happened, I was like, okay, well, you know, I'll stay home just for a little bit. You know, I kind of went back and forth on whether or not I would stay home the entire time or just until VP. And so my sister came to stay with us for just a few months, I want to say. And she helped to raise my oldest one. Israel is his name. And so during that time, you know, she just shared so much information with me because she worked with a lot of younger children. So again, my mindset is corporate. So raising children and teaching them was just not a part of my agenda. So in that journey, she ended up having to leave. So I had to make some big decisions. We had to make some big decisions. And with that, I decided to go ahead and send my son to daycare. And so I went back to work after having him. It's probably about a year later. And right after that, we got pregnant with our daughter, Isabella. And I was like, okay, wait a minute here. The Lord must be trying to tell us something. You know, maybe I need to reevaluate, you know, what's happening here. Because we knew that public school was not an option for us. So private school was the option. So I said, you know, I definitely, let's, you know, research different private schools to go to. So in that journey, we got pregnant with our second daughter, with our daughter. We only have two. And
Okay.
I'm a little nervous, so that's why I may be repeating myself 2 times. But so in that, I ended up getting off on disability. So I ended up getting out of work for a few months on disability. And then during that time, I just would hang out at the library, go to different, you know, events around town with my 2 little ones. Because around this time, our son was 2 and she was a newborn. So we were kind of like, okay, I really don't know what's happening with my life. I'm on disability because I had medical things happening. And I said, this is going to be very expensive for us to send our children to private school. So, you know, we were just thinking and talking, and I said, well, maybe I'll just go back and be a teacher. And then if I go back to school, get my teaching degree, and then I can just teach at their school, you know, and then, you know, just be a part of that. And then my husband was like, okay, so he was already familiar with homeschooling. That was not a part of my plan at all. So as I'm out, we go to, it's called Mom to Mom at a local church that's in the downtown area. So if you have children that's in 4th grade and younger, it's really geared, it's like a MOPS type group. So a bunch of moms coming together, we would meet once a week and we would have Bible study, and the kids would be in a like a daycare type of setting. And so they were in their space and the moms were in their own space. So it was really cool to just have that break because my husband was always at work. So it was just me. So during that, I met some moms that were talking about homeschooling. And I said, oh, I don't know about that. You know, when they hit 4, I think I'm going to send them to VPK and go back to school. And then that's when they started telling us about that. And so I took that back to my husband and he said, well, you know, I wanted you to do that, but I didn't know if you would give up your career to stay at home and teach the children. And I said, really? Okay, well, let's look a little bit further into this. So with that led us into families just talking about classical conversations. And so we ended up going to a 3-day practicum with them. And so we learned all about indoctrination, curriculum, the fears of homeschooling, different curriculum, what is your foundation, what motivates you when you have tough days, dealing with personalities, you know. So it was like a big wake-up call. And I said, you know what, this makes sense. You know, if I get to teach my own children, I get to know them personally, you know, and then I can set that foundation for them. And I don't have to wonder what the schools are teaching them because I would be that primary teacher. And so my husband was like, you know what, I support this 100%. He's like, if you want to stay home, he was like, you can raise our children versus sending them to public school. And I was like, oh, you know what? We went to the practicum, we did our research, and at that point we prayed about it. I said, I think this is where we're being led to. You know, I think that this is our best option is to go ahead and teach our children at home educate them. So not doing school at home, but home educating them, teaching them, setting foundations, setting goals, and just enjoying that time, you know, being home with them. So that is what led us into the homeschooling journey. It was classical conversation. My son, he was 3, getting ready to turn 4. So during that time, I had to make a decision what we were going to do once June, August came. So I know, I knew what to do at that point. So yeah, so my husband, he's just like, whatever you want. You tell me how much it costs, and I'm there. So
Wow.
whatever curriculum, whatever it was that we chose to do, he supported me 100%. So I think that that's one of the most important things, because even when I have tough days, I know I can call on him, and he's like, okay, let's just pray about this. You got my back. What do you need my help with? Let's do this together. So that's important in that support system.
Beautiful, beautiful. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's a good journey. And just you mentioned classical conversations. For many of you who may not know that about that, I also did classical conversations. I was a director for Challenge A for a couple of years. Program, excellent, excellent. Their biggest thing is lacking in diversity. Yes. So, but other than that, beautiful, exceptional beginning of entry into homeschooling. So, one thing that you mentioned just there in that terminology, I just want you to unpack that. And you mentioned it, wanting to home educate your children in your home versus teaching them. Okay, unpack what that difference is for you and what that looks like in your journey so far.
Okay, yes, absolutely. So in the journey of homeschooling, I realized that there is a difference between home educating and then schooling. And I had to really figure out, I would say it probably took me about 2 or 3 years to really figure out, am I doing school at home? Which means, am I looking at what the standards are for what the state and the government, what others who don't homeschool think I should be doing, or my children should be learning, or where they should be based on the standards, because we're all taught to think a certain way about what school looks like. They hit 4 years old and we send them off, and this is where they stay until they graduate from high school. And so with that, I would always look and say, okay, they're in kindergarten. What do I need to do? They need to know how to read, how to write. They need to know how to add all of these. They need to know how to subtract. And so I felt that pressure of I had to hit everybody else's standards. And I said, you know what? It just finally hit me. I would say probably about 2 or 3 years in, that I'm not homeschooling. Literally, I am home educating them, which means that they're learning from the world around them. I don't have to look in a book or find a curriculum to teach them. I can go outside and we can take a walk, a nature walk, find something. I can pull up a unit study from Teachers Pay Teachers. That's a website that you can go to and print off documents and things of that nature. Or you can make up your own. You make up your own lesson plan of how you want to teach your children. And so we were talking about the grass and why that's important, and why are there worms, and what is the purpose of bugs, and what is the purpose of the sun and the water. And then bam, what do we have? Science, right? So then we start adding, look at how the birds are all flocking together, flying around. Look at if we're watching nature shows with lions and tigers, and or if we go to the zoo, there's math in that, there's science in that, there's language in it. Just that whole understanding and respect for everything around us. And so once I tapped in, I said, oh goodness, I got this down. I'm not homeschooling them. I don't need to get a whole bunch of books to teach my child. I can just walk out the door and they can learn anywhere. They can talk to elders. They can talk to my mother. They can talk to their grandparents. They can go into nursing homes. They can talk to other adults and learn from them and research. Mom, what is this? Hey, that's a good question. Let's go look that up. So it was just learning all around. So I realized at that point, I'm not teaching them from the textbook. I'm teaching, it's home education. We're learning at home. I don't have restrictions. We make up our own schedule. We get to come and go how we like. I don't have to meet anyone else's standards but the goals that we set each year. So I hope that explained the difference for us.
Yes, that's excellent. That's excellent. And kudos to you, Tameka, for learning that in just 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
That's huge. That's huge. That's huge. So girls, some thumbs up, some hearts. Let us know that you're following with us and checking with us. Thank you for the support and rooting Tameka on. Tameka, even at 18 years of homeschooling for myself, and I know for just many people in general, to get that revelation in 2 years, it don't often come that often, because you stay in a mode of thinking. When you come to school, it's this big transformation that happens, and you got to have this mindset change.
Mm-hmm.
That you're not schooling in your home, as but you're doing your creative way of educating, and it may not come out of a book.
Right.
I mean, that's huge. Very, very good. So tell us, as you started your first year of homeschooling your son, I guess he was 4 when you started, or did you start at 5? What did that your first year look like?
Well, yeah, so it would have been pre-K, I guess that's what they would call it. So for us, it was very simple. I used Confessions of a Homeschooler, and she has a curriculum that you can print out. And so I printed out the curriculum. Again, my mindset was thinking I have these standards to meet, so I need to make sure I'm covering everything. So Confessions of a Homeschooler really has everything laid out, between them learning their shapes and colors and numbers and how to read and write, and a number of different activities were in there. And so eventually, I think I got to like letter maybe D. And I said, what am I doing here? I threw out the curriculum. I didn't literally throw it out. I just put it to the side. But I said, you know what? We're going to do our own thing. So I went and got construction paper, colored construction paper, started cutting up shapes in different colors, and we were just doing our own, activities, just preparing them for kindergarten. Because again, I'm looking at the book, what does my kindergartner need to know, before they get in? Because I don't people looking at him saying, well, he doesn't know his letters, or he doesn't know how to write. So I had that stress and that thought process of me trying to get him to hit that standard. But it became fun. It was a lot of fun. We would go to the beach, and hang out. And so I started to become a lot more lax, and just say, you know what, let's enjoy this time, and it's not stressful. Let's write the boy, so he has a lot of energy. So I had to really evaluate, because I was getting frustrated, and I was just like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to teach this human being to know how to read. Like, how do you do this? Maybe I don't know what I'm doing after all. So this is why you need to have support, because you could doubt yourself, and you have to have your support system. So I put it down. I had another friend who was like, come on, Tameka, just try it. It's good. Don't give up on it. So then I went back to it, and I was just like, it's still not working, but let me just try something different. And so we just went through and did our own thing. I was just like, just say these letters here. Okay, we're done with the lesson. And he was like, that's it? I said, that's it. I just want to know if you know how to read this. And then the letters, it was a letter. Then it went to 2-letter words. Then it went to 3-letter words. And then it built up. And then by the end, he was reading, paragraphs and chapters at that point. And
Wow.
and I realized by the time he turned 5, I said, oh my goodness, I taught this human being to know how to read. I said, okay, now that he knows this, I think it's going to be smooth sailing from there. And then there was math. I was like, oh, I don't know math well. I don't do math well. So that was not my specialty. So, but my husband, he's excellent in math. So we tag team that, and it's not necessarily like I know, 1 + 1, 2 + 2, but it's getting them to see it. You're trying to teach this human being to understand the concept of 2 and 1, or 2 and 2. What does this look like, and why is it So it really just to, you know, to just relaxing. And it's not a race to the finish line. It's when he's ready. And if he needs a moment, hi, are you on there? It's frozen.
Yep, I'm here.
Okay.
Hey, Tameka, did you ever turn your iPad off, the internet?
Yes.
You did. Okay. All right. Great. Okay, good deal. So, well, some of the things I missed on, but for the gist of it, you said that you eventually you felt the confidence came. You were able to homeschool this human being. I like how you say human being, teach him how to read, and tag team and schooling him in his math, and just having that support system.
Right.
That was the meat and potatoes of your first year of journey into homeschool, correct?
Right. Exactly. Yes.
Yeah, so beautiful. Good job. So would you say, I mean, in that first year, did you feel pretty confident, or did it take some years, you know, even though you had that support team in place? After that, I mean, what was your confidence level?
It actually was smooth sailing after that first year. Once I was able, I would say after that year and a half. So probably at about first grade. So not VPK, fourth, pre-K and kindergarten. Those were kind of like my tough years because I had to learn his learning style. I had to learn how he processed information and was able to retain that information. And so that was the tough part because I'm thinking, okay, if I said it, he should get it. But that wasn't necessarily the truth, you know? So I had to learn to make sure he was able to understand it and to find creative ways for him to understand and process it as he needed to. So
Yes.
Those first, 2 years was the toughest. And after that, we do still have our moments, where, and I think more so now and I understand that it could just be laziness. Like, hey, I just don't want to do it. He could just be frustrated. And so now I'm at a place where I can see those signs, and then I know when to pull back and say, okay, let's shut it down and take a 2-hour break. Or we're going to shut it down. We're going to scratch the rest of the day and do it tomorrow. So I've learned to read him a lot easier, but I think that with me having him home earlier on, it helped me to see what he needs for me to teach him. And now,
good.
So he's going to be 10 next month. And so he'll be going into the 5th grade, and my daughter will be heading into 3rd grade. So.
Okay. Very good. Good nuggets. Girlfriends, those are good nuggets. And you're right. Your first years, or when you first are starting, it's all about learning how your kids homeschool, how they learn, how they best learn so that you can know how to give them that information so that they can retain it, understand it, dissect it, and move and maneuver through that. So excellent insights. So if you all are just considering homeschooling, or maybe you're still fresh in it and you're still kind of like pulling your hair, just know that's part of the process. Yeah. You all are learning. You're learning how to best educate. They're learning how to best receive. It's a work and a work that's developing over years. So very good. Yeah. So Tameka, take us to your worst day of homeschooling. No one is perfect. It doesn't matter how we are, how sweet we are, how lovely, how rich, or how whatever economic status we're in, no one gets a ticket perfect, right?
Right. You kind of broke up, but I think I'm reading through where you're saying, tell you about my worst day. Like, what did that look like?
Yeah, take us to your worst day of homeschooling, to the day when you almost thought you would quit, that you cannot take this. This is not for me. I'm going to take him. He's going somewhere. Public school, somebody else's homeschool. I'm done. Take us to that day.
Well, really not one, and there's not one specific moment that I can think of, but that's a good question. We do have our moments, when I do get frustrated, because it's like when you know that they know this answer or that they know this process and they're just like not doing it. They're just like, nope, I don't know what that means. And you're looking at them like, we just went over this like 5 seconds ago. And were you not listening to me? And so then it's like, you know what? I don't think I can do this. Maybe I need to go ahead and just register you. Maybe someone else needs to do this because I can't. So, and I don't say, I'm very careful in what I say to them, because I don't want them to feel like, oh, if mommy gets mad, she's going to send us away. So, those are conversations that I would have with my husband where I'm just like, they're, you know what? If we have to bring out the Legos, we'll do that. If I have to go and pull a Star Wars stunt and talk about, if this many stormtroopers were here and these had laser, lightsabers, then this is what we're going to do. And I'm a Star Wars fan too. So it really makes it fun. And then he starts going on and on. So then we may have like a minute or two where we can just break away, and then he's ready to jump back in because now he's had that, And then I think as homeschooling parents, we sometimes forget that, when we go to work, sometimes we need a break, maybe if you're working in customer service and you've just had a bad call after bad call, that doesn't mean you don't know your job. That just means it's just really been tough. And you may need to take a moment to walk away and come back, understand why you're here, and make it fun. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I just learned how to, when I'm having those tough days, those tough moments, and those thoughts come in my head, I say, nope, we're going to shut it down and we're going to go. We're going to go to the pool. We're going to go to the beach. We're going to go to a friend's house and just do something different. So.
Yes, very good. So conversely, and that's true, you have these days all the time, but if your why is big enough, it keeps you persevering forward. That this is what we're going to do, and I'm going to figure out how to do it. So conversely, Tameka, on your bad day, tell us your most proudest moment in homeschooling, where maybe it almost brought you to tears, and you were like, "Oh, this is why I do what I do. This is why we homeschool, right?"
Right.
This moment.
I want to say that moment was when we had our spelling bee, and we had with one of the local homeschooling groups here in Jacksonville. It's called Homeschooling by Faith, and you have to know someone in order to get into that group. But they had a couple years back a spelling bee, and so we used All About Spelling. And I want to say we were only up to level 2. And he was like, I want to do this. I want to go into the spelling bee. And I'm just like, are you sure you want to go out in front of a bunch of strangers and spell words that you may or may not know? He said, yes. I said, okay, let's sign you up for this. But I did tell him, it's okay. I'm just proud of you for even wanting to step up and stand in front of an audience and spell some words. That's great. That takes a lot of courage. And so he went right up there like a little soldier and said his words, and he won first place. And
wow,
he was actually in 2, because we're still with an umbrella school, but we were with a different one at that time. And they had a spelling bee, and then the Homeschooling by Faith group also had a spelling bee. So he won both. First place and got up there.
Wow.
This thing. And so ever since then, we just had a spelling bee with our own co-op. And again, he won first place. So, I mean, even if he didn't win, it's okay. It's just the point of view going up. But he actually is an amazing speller. And so when I see that, I'm like, wow. I mean, he truly, he loves it. He loves to spell. I could just throw random words to him and he'll spell it. And so
wow.
it makes it a lot of fun. And, then that just, it confirms for me. And I love All About Spelling. I'm not trying to, promote curriculum, but I just love how All About Spelling works, because it's not sit down paperwork. It's about having the conversation. It's about talking it through and understanding the English language and why words come the way that they do, and the I before E, except like all of those things, that whole aspect. It just makes it fun, and we make fun songs and have fun examples, and that has really connected the dots. And when I see that, the light bulbs go off. I'm like, wow, this is why we do what we do. We're having
Wow.
So
Beautiful. That is beautiful. Good job, buddy. Woo-hoo!
yes.
So all my girlfriends and guy friends who are on here, hopefully all of you give us thumbs up. Let me know you're still connected and all is going well. I'm in a new location, so my internet may be wonky. Hopefully it's working fine. So give us some thumbs up and some smiles and let us know that you're here as well. We're here with Tameka Williams out of Jacksonville, Florida. And I'm right now in Virginia, normally out of South Carolina. And so, Tameka, as we go to the next part of our show, this is where I ask you some questions, just to pick your brain. These are quick, answers you can give, 1 or 2 sentences. So the first question is, what is your favorite quote, Tameka, that helps you through your homeschooling journey?
I actually do not have a favorite quote. I read a lot of, I think it's called memes. Is that right? Is that how they say memes? My sister used to make fun of me because I would call it memes, and she's like, it's memes. But so I read a lot of those, and I just coming across different quotes that float around on the internet, and I read that, and it seems like that quote is speaking to me for that moment that I'm going through, or that I needed that validation or confirmation on. So I don't have one that actually stands out to me, but I do know Proverbs talks a lot about knowledge and understanding and wisdom, and so from that, I'm constantly reminding myself to remember that there are stages in learning, and so I have to remember that. I can't expect them to get a word and understand what it means just because he may know how to spell it. Does he know the definition behind it? Does he know how to use it in a sentence? And so that's where I'm at that, again, it comes from the classical conversations piece of the knowledge, understanding, and wisdom. So just those 3 stages of learning and understanding. So in that is, it's not a quote, but those 3 things, that knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, is what really keeps me focused. Learning the grammar, getting the dialectic, that understanding piece, and then the rhetoric piece of it, that wisdom, that knowledge, and being able to speak it back and to teach it back and help others. And so that's what I remind myself of. That's what I keep up to say, okay, remember, we're in the grammar stage. We're just in that beginning stage. Then it's going to come through. We have another side to go through. We're going to get there. So those are the 3 words that really stick out to me. So,
yes. Would you say that you have adopted a particular teaching style or method of homeschooling, home educating?
I would consider us as eclectic, classical unschoolers. So sometimes sometimes we'll have a curriculum, a book that we look at, but that doesn't mean I'm going to use that book for him or her to write their answers in. I may just ask them verbally, and then I'll know, okay, yes, they know this. We have the unschooling effect where, if say, for instance, we have science, I don't have to get a science curriculum. So I would look into, can we go to a science museum? Or what is it, we could pick up something and learn more, like, say, chemistry or biology. Last semester we did dissection, so I didn't really hone it. We normally use Mystery of Science, which it's a really good program because it allows you to pick the subject that you want to cover for that week or that day with your child. So, and it's just, it's not a lot of prep work, so it makes it a lot of fun. But last semester we had dissection, and my son was all about, dissecting the eyeball and the heart, livers and the grasshoppers and the earthworms, and learning all about how the body works. And, he says he wants to be a heart surgeon because he's always learning about the human body and its importance. And so he just wants to get in and see it. So that was a big thing for us. So, yeah. So that's the unschooling, I guess. Eclectic, kind of go with the flow. But that's cool piece that keeps me grounded and having a purpose towards what we're going to do, but not really stress if that doesn't get done.
Gotcha. Would you say that you have a particular, have adopted a philosophy as well at this point of your schooling journey?
No, I don't have any philosophy. Not. Maybe it'll come to me at some point, but not yet. Yeah, we're enjoying the stage that we're in, and I haven't set. I mean, it's kind of like with our goals. It changes every year. It could change each semester. Where I may say, "Hey, we're going to work on this for the year," and then 3 or 4 weeks in, I'm like, "Nope, now let's go ahead and focus on this." So it changes.
Gotcha. Now, you mentioned a couple of curriculums, Tameka, but is there a particular curriculum or CD or book that you feel like every home educating home should have this in their possession?
Oh, that is a good question. I can only say what we've used consistently, and that's Saxon math, and all about spelling and all about reading. Like I said, our kickstart was to teach your child to read in 100 easy lessons. So definitely during that time, and any new parent that I meet, I always tell them about teaching your child to read in 100 easy lessons. But then after that, it's all about spelling, all about reading, Saxon math, and that's really it. I've seen so many different ones though, like Math Mammoth, Abeka. We used Abeka once, we used Hooked on Phonics. I did that for, I think, kindergarten and first grade, because I told you I was in the place like, how am I going to teach this child to read? So I've tried a couple of different things. This year, what I just picked up was Winning with Writing, and I think it's called Grammar with Grammar or something to that effect. So I'm going to try that out. I like its approach so far. So it came in the mail today, and I popped it open, and I'm looking through it like, oh, I can't wait to get my hands on this. So I'm going to check that out. But yeah, I'm that kind of mom that I don't mind changing the curriculum if we're only like a couple of lessons in, because I have to think about, is my child learning from this? I may like the curriculum, but it may not work well for my student. So I have to know to stop it and change it up. And so I don't mind shelving it. I don't know if you can see back there, but I have a lot of curriculum that I've had to shelf, and that's okay, because I may come back to it, with my daughter, or I may use it as some type of a resource. Or I have a lot of homeschooling friends. They'll come over to the house and say, hey, can I borrow this? Sure, go ahead and borrow it. So, so that's one of the biggest things I would tell parents is, get your hands on a curriculum. If you get it and you don't like it, don't force yourself or your child to keep using it. It's okay to shelf it and find something new. We have a group here called Harry, and I don't know what it stands for. I just know it's HERI. Someone can comment on here.
Oh, yes. I'm familiar with that. Yeah.
You've heard of them? Okay. But if you join them, they have a library of curriculum. So you can go there, get your hands on the curriculum, see what it looks like, and check it out. So without having to pay hundreds of dollars for curriculum, because it can get expensive. So, yeah, I really believe that it's just up to the child, up to the parent. Can I teach this to my child? And will my child receive the information that is being taught to them? So.
Beautiful, beautiful. What is the best piece of advice you've received, Tameka, during this homeschooling journey so far?
Oh, the best piece. Enjoy this time because it goes fast. It goes fast. I only have 18 years of their youth with them, of where I can make a major impact. Once they hit, 18, 19, or they're out of the house, they're their own person. They're their own individual. And it's hard to make big impacts. At that moment, they can only say to me, okay, Mom, yes, I remember when you told me about this. So I'm trying to be very on purpose, paying attention to what they say, to what their interests are, to enjoying their youth, because they have their whole life to worry about bills and money and the stresses of this world. So just enjoying, just having fun,
Absolutely.
wake up and not have to worry about anything, you can just enjoy life. And okay, I'm going to wake up and what do I have on my plan? I'll have to do some reading today. Okay, where do you want to do your reading? In your bed? Do you want to go outside in the backyard? So just enjoying that time, because there's going to be a moment when they're not going to have that freedom to do what they want when they want. And so just enjoying this time, just seeing them, their light bulbs going off, and seeing my children play with each other. That was another big plus for homeschooling, is seeing the kids, their relationship, brother and sister hanging out, playing with each other, them growing up with each other. If one is at someone else's house, they're constantly wondering, where's Izzy? Oh, well, where's Bella? What is she doing? But then they like their space. They do bicker. They do get on each other's nerves, but they want to know where each other is. They're concerned about one another. They play well together, and they love on each other. And that's one of the big pluses that I love and that I enjoy, is that they have that time to be together. So
Beautiful, beautiful. Tell us, what is one of your favorite resources or tools or apps that you use in your homeschool that you can recommend?
I like Khan Academy. That's a really good one that we go to, because it gives great examples. He uses a Blackboard type of a platform to walk the kids through that, to just give them different examples for math and whatever it is that they may be learning. Because I know Khan has definitely, I don't know if his name is Khan, but Khan Academy, the owner, has added in more like science and social studies and civics and a lot more. So my children aren't to that level yet, but I do know a lot of people, it's free, and a lot of people love it. So that was a good one. That is a good one for us now. We also use Starfall. That was a good one for us when my kids were, I want to say, first grade and under was a really good one, Starfall. Let's see. And then I just find just different apps. We have the iPad, and so I just find different division apps, fraction apps, whatever is free, and they just play on that. So nothing.
Yeah. Is Starfall, is that a .com, or is that an app, or what is Starfall? I've not heard of that.
The Starfall, there is an app for it, but it is also on the computer. And
okay, .com. Okay.
Yeah, and they have it, I want to say, up to second grade. So that is a really good one, especially for the younger ones. Like, I want to say maybe at 3 or 4 years old, they can start using that, because it teaches them how to, write letters and adding, and it gives them stories. So it works with reading comprehension, asking questions to see if they are knowing what the story is, the beginning, the middle, the end of the story. So it's just, it's geared more towards the younger ones, I think. Now, they could have updated it. I haven't used it in a while, so
okay.
I'm not sure how, what all is on it at this point. But I do know I used it when they were first grade and under. So
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good deal. Well, here we are. We're on our last question, the $1,000,000 question. Tameka, are you ready?
Yes.
Good deal. Now, if you had to start all over again to day one of your home education journey, but you have your current wisdom, knowledge, skills, convictions, insights, what would be the first thing that you would change or be sure to implement this go around in your first day of home education?
I would have thrown out all curriculum. Throw it all out and just spent more time just enjoying the kids, you know, not really stressing about, you know, what they needed to know, you know, not trying to follow what the guidelines are, not trying to please others and you know, having people question, like all of the, I wouldn't say all, but just some of the negative, you know, comments that I may have received, just saying, you know what, I don't want to hear that, you know, just really enjoying the moment more and just throwing away the curriculum and just enjoying that youth, because like I said, I think we just put that pressure on us that we have to do certain things with our kids instead of just loving on them and having fun with them, you know, put away TV, put away whatever electronics, and just go outside and just have fun. Listen to them, listen to their interests, and go from there. And stop trying to figure out what everybody else wants your child to learn. So, you know your child, you know them, you give your child what they need based on that. They have a goal, help them achieve that goal. That may change. You go with the flow of it. It's their life at this moment. You're prepared. I chose to homeschool. This is one thing I always tell people. I chose to homeschool Israel and Isabella. Okay, so I'm going to forgive them whatever it is that they need to have. When they get older, I don't want them to say, my mother and father didn't give us the tools that we needed to be successful. I've given you everything that you needed. Now it's up to you to do that and go. So.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Now, I got to ask you this one last question, though, because you said something really big here. You said if you had to start all over, you would throw out all your curriculum, but you are like also a curriculum-based person who are like, you know, if it doesn't work, get another curriculum, do something different. How do you balance that out? Get rid of them, but you enjoy curriculum as your base.
I pick out different things from it. So I don't use it and follow it through. I look at it and say, okay, let's look at what they're teaching in here. And then we just do our own thing. So I use it as a guide, as a resource as to what I need to, just to help me to help them. Because again, even though I may understand it, I have to figure a way for them to understand and process what I'm trying to teach them, and the best way for them to have examples, or the best way to say it to them. So I use it more as a resource, because I'm like, wow, these are really good curriculum, but I don't let them sit down and work in the book like that anymore. You know, I really have just gotten rid of it. So
that's good. Good. Thank you for clarifying that. That's excellent. Yes. Woo, that was great.
Yes.
Girlfriends, guy friends, we have just had our time with Tameka Williams out of Jacksonville, Florida. And that was really good. She laid down a lot of nuggets. You all want to go hit the replay, go hear that again, take some notes. Yeah. She gave some great insights and wisdom for those who may be just starting, or if you've already started, just some other things to think on and how to view curriculum. She said that exceptionally well. Use curriculum as a guide and not as the Bible of how to do everything in that specific subject. That was very, very poignant. So very good. So Tameka, any last words of advice you have for our girlfriends? Also, can you share what you have your hands in as an extended part of our village? Oh. And then also, let us know how to get in contact with you if they have more questions or want to continue this dialogue with you.
Okay, absolutely. Well, you know, the best thing that I can always say is just enjoy your time. Enjoy where you are. Enjoy your kids. If you feel stressed, if you feel frustrated, shut it down. Shut down school. Walk away. It is not worth the stress. It is not worth ruining your relationship. It is not worth affecting your children's confidence. Just let it go and do something else for that day. There's always tomorrow. It's not a race. You're going to finish your race. It's going to come. Enjoy your race. Enjoy that time. So don't feel like you have to rush to get there. Let's see. I hope that answered that question. Okay. What do I have my hands in? I am, again, so we have a group that's called look at me. I'm in another place right now. Culturally Connected Homeschoolers. Culturally Connected Homeschoolers. We have, like I said, around 40 families and over 100 children. And that's because we have families that may have, 5 or 10 children. We have large families. And the purpose behind that was I wanted to provide an opportunity for families, large families, to be able to come together and meet once a week and just enjoy each other. If we're homeschooling, I feel that each and every parent, each and every mother and father is equipped enough to teach their children, and they can also help other families. They can help other children. So they would be considered tutors. And so this group gives the parents an opportunity. If you have a love for art, you can say, you know what, I want to teach a class for art. I want to teach high schoolers about fine arts. I want to teach the younger ones about art. You can have a class on that. So we have kids from nursery up through high school. We have, we just implemented, because there are a lot of children, and it was a lot for me to wrap my head around. So I have a mom that has stepped into the early childhood education coordinator is her name, and her name is Latrice. And then I have a high school coordinator. A high school coordinator, and that is Lauren and Rachel. And then we have middle school coordinators, and that is Tamara and, oh goodness, who's the other person? I'm drawing a blank. Forgive me, we just implemented. And then we have an elementary school coordinator as well, and I think that is Sharika, and then we have another mom named Martini. And so those moms really just take the load of talking with the parents who have children in that grade level. And so they just come up with great ideas on the classes that they would like to offer. So if it's math, if it's science, history, if it's any type of elective type, so Spanish classes, Lego classes, if we have board game classes, there's really no limit. There's nothing that would not be accepted in the class, in that setting. So it's really all of the parents coming together to say what they would like to see in the co-op and who would be interested in signing their children up for it. And then we offer the class. And the classes so the fees for it is only for supplies. So there's not a lot. The cost basically, like I said, is just supplies. And then there's a donation to the facility. So everything else is free. And so again, that was to keep in mind families with large children, not large children, large families. And so just providing that opportunity for them to come together. We called it Culturally Connected. My husband actually helped me come up with that name because he knows I'm all about culture and diversity. And he said, you know what? Coming up with Culturally Connected allows for the community of families that is of African descent. We have Hispanics, we may have Asian families, we may have Hispanic families. So anyone is welcome to come and to be able to teach and to learn about other cultures, and not just and certain groups that was around Jacksonville. It was geared towards more of the Western culture, which is very European. And